I'm Lanna Souvanny, and you're listening to the True North Country Comics podcast.
Welcome to the True North Country Comics podcast, dedicated to promote Canadian comic book creators and supporters. It's October 12th, 2020. I'm John Swinimer. If you have a comment, criticism, or question, you can contact me at john@truenorthcountrycomics.com. On this episode, I chat with Lanna Souvanny. The podcast is available on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. And don't forget to check out YouTube. Lanna is a French artist living in Vancouver, British Columbia. In 2019, she co-created the comic story Noah's Ark with Mark Waid. The comic story is featured in the first issue of Steel Cage, published by Ahoy Comics. At the same time, she worked at the animation studio Tat Productions for the feature film Les Aventures de Pile as a character designer and background 2D artist. She also did variant covers for Steven Universe for Boom Studio and My Little Pony Friendship is Magic for IDW Publishing. Her current project is Marvel Origins with Chris Iliopoulos, slated for stores this December. So without further ado, here's my chat with Lanna Souvanny. So Lanna Souvanny, thank you very much for taking time to chat with me.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I appreciate your time. What I normally do to start off the interview is ask the creator about their first comic book. So I'm wondering if you remember, what was the first comic book that you read?
As far as I can remember, I think it was a manga.
Oh.
And it was Sailor Moon.
Oh, very good. Yes,
Yeah.
Very popular.
Yeah, and then I think it was mostly mangas. I started with this Japanese comic books, and then maybe the very first may have been Mickey Mouse. I guess.
Okay, sure. Why not? Yeah. So, who or what inspires you to create today?
I think I would say I'm actually very new in the comic books industry. Like I said before, I used to read manga, and now I would say because I got introduced by my very good friend Paul Renaud. I don't know if you know him. He's a famous comic book artist also at Marvel. He's kind of a mentor for me, so he helped me to get involved in the industry, and I think he's mostly my big inspiration for all those superheroes. And I think it's maybe the movies, actually, Marvel movies.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of action that I really love. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, I understand you're currently in Vancouver, but originally from France.
Yes.
So I wonder if you could talk a bit about the comic book creator scene over there. What's that like?
In France?
Yes.
Oh, it's very different, actually. The American comic books became very popular because of the movies, I guess. And it was mostly a big scene with the Franco-Belgian comic books like Asterix or Tintin. And there are more and more independent creators that I think that push the comic books in a very more popular public, I would say. It's more mainstream, maybe. But it's a bit different in the sense of because I moved because I felt that the industry is not very helped in France, actually. The artistic part is very under the level we can have in North America.
Is it true that bande dessinée is the typical type of comic you'd find over there?
Oh yeah, in France we call it. It's bande dessinée would be just a translation of comic books, actually.
Ah, okay.
It's a very wide catalog you can have as comic books, actually.
But not as much superheroes, more average everyday life type of thing.
Yes, it's maybe you don't have a lot of superheroes of very American originally, but you can find some French I think.
Okay, I understand. Well, speaking of superheroes, your name has been in the press
lately because you're attached to a new series called Marvel Origins that's
Yes.
starting up in December. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about how that came to be? How did that happen?
I first worked with IDW Publishing for My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. I did some variant covers with them. It was in the past years. I worked with Ahoy Comics and creator Mark with as a writer. I guess that may have helped me and maybe show my name to IDW who worked with me before. So I suppose it would have been how I got involved with the Marvel auction.
Ah, okay. So this is something you were aspiring to, that was part of your plan, so to speak?
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh.
I never planned to actually work in the comic books industry because I had a different road to come here. I studied graphic design and I wanted to work as an illustrator. And then, like I said before, thanks to Paul Renaud, I got involved in the comic books and I started to really like working for this universe.
Oh, very good. Good stuff. Now, wonder if you could we could take a step back and maybe you could talk a bit about your creative process. How do you go from the initial concept of the art to the finished page?
For the cover art, I start thinking about all the main characteristics that will define a character. Like, for example, for Marvel Action Origins with Spider-Man, I know he's a superhero based in New York, so I had to put buildings and everything and trying to find the good pose for this character to really resume all the character. And then I start with a few sketches, little by little, trying to pick the strongest one. And I work on digitally, so it's easier for me to work fast and to put color easily, interchange them, and to put the atmosphere on that. So the final art is mostly done on my computer.
Now, do you use a Wacom tablet or do you use an Apple Pencil? How do you do that?
I use a Wacom tablet with my computer. Sometimes for sketching, I use my iPad and Procreate. It depends on how I feel, how I want to work. But it's mostly digital because it's easier for me and I can work fast with that.
Yeah, so I understand that the digital version sometimes could be, if you're against a deadline, very easy to meet deadlines when you're doing it digitally.
Yes.
Oh, okay, very good. And how's it working with Chris Iliopoulos? I'm not selling that right. How's it working with Chris Iliopoulos, the writer of the series?
Actually, I haven't started yet to work with Chris. I just know that he was writing the story, but I'm not. I think it's going to be really, really nice, and I know he's well settled in the comic books industry, so I'm good. I'm excited.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be fun. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if you have any other projects in the works that you can talk about.
For the moment, it's the main project I'm working on, and maybe for the future, I will be working on the French comic books, and it's for the youth again, and it's actually about superheroes too, but it's very new for the moment, so I'm not able to say more about that.
Sure. No, I understand. So that's definitely something down the road. So I'm wondering where people can find out about your work online. Where should people go to find you on social media?
You can easily find my Facebook page with my name and my Instagram account. Yeah, it's mostly where I post my work. I also have an Station page, but it's mostly on. I'm more up to date on Instagram.
Thanks to Lanna for the chat. You can discover more about Lanna on Twitter and Instagram at Lanna Souvanny. That's LANNA SOUVANNY, and online at lannasouvanny.com. And thanks to you for listening to the True North Country Comics podcast. If you haven't done so already, Please subscribe to and like this podcast on Apple Podcasts, and please leave a good rating. Also, check out the TrueNorthCountryComics.com website and follow along on Twitter at TrueNorthComics. True North Country Comics is now on YouTube, so please like and subscribe to that video channel. Please send your feedback to John at TrueNorthCountryComics.com. Thanks again for listening, and come back soon for another episode. Bye for now. True North Country Comics Podcast is copyright True North Country Comics, copyright 2020.